Okay, everybody. So this is my quick review on the characters of Love is Blind season 3. Now, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. I will be talking about a lot of different situations, right? They're rolling out several episodes or a few episodes out at a time. So I'm going to talk about the characters now from episodes 1 through 4. I'm going to bring up different situations. And this is just my opinion, okay? There's no malice or ill will. This is just my opinion based off the 4 episodes where I think things could possibly go. There's a lot of speculation, okay? I see a lot of people on YouTube make videos, but we don't really hear a guy's perspective, okay? I've been watching, listen, I started watching this because I was shacked up in quarantine with a girl, and so I've been watching this show, okay? So let's get straight into it. First cast member or character that we're going to talk about is Brennan. I'm going to be honest with you. He seems like a nice guy. I get safe guy vibes from him. He seems kind of boring. You know what I'm saying? He just doesn't really stand out to me. And I don't mean that in a negative way. He just seems like a safe guy. Like he just seems like a guy that you could have a drink with or go out with and he would be okay, you know, but that so far I don't really see anything that stands out about him to me, right? I'm just being honest. He does seem a bit, more mature, and that could be because of his age compared to some of the other guys that we're going to talk about, okay? So he's matched up with Alexa. Now, Alexa, the first vibe that I got from her is she seems high maintenance, right? That she likes to be in control of things. And she's definitely a beautiful Israeli woman, and you can tell that her family and culture is very important to her. So it'll be very interesting to see, will they mesh? Do I see it working? It definitely could work, but will her insecurity with her body, will that play a factor later on with Brennan if he's really attracted to her or not? I think it may. This kind of gives me Nick and Danielle vibes from season 2. Where, Danielle was insecure about, being used to be overweight, but then she lost the weight. And by the way, like I said before, Alexa's very beautiful. I mean, when they showed her walking and I saw the junk in the trunk, I was like, oh, okay, all right. She's very beautiful. But with Nick and Danielle in season 2, for those who remember, Danielle was very insecure about a lot of things. And I think she also had some issues, I'm just saying, that affected the relationship, okay? So do I see them make it? Yes. But, it could go left. Okay, now we're going to talk about Matt. Now, Matt, to me, seems, once again, like a regular dude. Nothing really stands out about him. But then when he told the story about how his ex-wife did him grimy like that, what? So, like, his ex-wife was his high school sweetheart. They were together for a minute, and then, she ended up cheating on him. And that, to me, was like, damn. And I got to commend him for being able to even go on that show and being vulnerable like that, because after you've dealt with a situation like that, it can make you very resentful and bitter. So I give him kudos for that, for being able to move on. Now, Colleen. Well, what can I say about Colleen? Very beautiful, bubbly, fun. Like, Colleen is the type of girl that you could just, go out on a weekend. Like, I could see myself going out with Colleen, hitting up different spots if I was 5 years younger. Just hitting up different, bars and stuff. She seems like she would be down for anything. Like, a very fun girl, right? So Colleen, issue is, though, she lacks emotional depth, and she's definitely emotional unavailable, right? Her emotional availability is severely lacking. And typically, you notice that on the show if a character is not attracted to another character, maybe. For example, in season 1, where Jessica wasn't really feeling Mark, right? But the fact that she got rejected by 2 men for virtually the same reason, that lets me know that this chick, she's dealing with some emotionally avoidance, or she's just there for the blue check mark. She's just there for the clout. And there's another thing too that doesn't get talked about enough, but there are beautiful women that they have, personality issues, not all, but some. And so they mask it by trying to avoid certain things. So I think that she's emotionally avoidant. Maybe the delving deeper or being vulnerable causes her to, deal with some PTSD. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe she doesn't want to be emotionally available because she might be a borderline personality. You know what I'm saying? And if she is, then it would open up the floodgates, So I'm definitely sensing some emotional issues there, trauma, and there could be some personality disorder type issues too. You feel me? I'm just being honest. Do I see them make it? No. I think Colleen is gonna sabotage this somehow, some way. I just think that will happen. I think that Colleen is not. She's not ready to get married. She's still a girl in her party phase, and she needs therapy, bro. She needs some therapy. And I don't mean that from a sense of hate or malice, but from a sense of that she really needs therapy. I think that once she matures a bit, she would make a great wife, but she would have to grow in regards to her personality and also be more vulnerable and be emotionally available, okay? That's very important. Okay, so let's go with who's next? Okay, so let's go with Cole. Cole is a funny guy, but I gotta keep it real with you. And I know, shout out to the Love is Blind Reddit. You guys know I'm there heavy. But Cole looks like a dollar store version of Barnett from season 1. And his last name is Barnett too, which is crazy, right? But even his personality, like Barnett, for those who remember season 1, Barnett was like the ladies' man. He was funny, also good looking guy, right? And the women were just swooning over Barnett. Cole kind of has the same style as Barnett, but he's not as charismatic as Barnett, right? His sense of humor is more goofier. He's still a witty guy, goofier. He kind of reminds me of myself a little bit with his sense of humor, right? So, he seems like a good dude, but honestly, I don't think that he's ready for marriage. He's 26 years young. I'm just being honest. Now, Zanab. Zanab, my first impression of Zanab, I got to keep it real. When I first saw Zanab, I was like, oh, she high maintenance, she picky. Know what I'm saying? But then Zanab said something, bro. And then when I saw Zanab in that dress, Zanab is gorgeous. Like, Zanab, hands down, is the most beautiful woman on that show. Facts. I mean, golly, shorty's gorgeous. Gorgeous adorbs. Facts. But with Zanab, she said something about, something like, when I went to bed, I prayed for you. And I was like, shorty, that's a real one. Because, listen, guys, I've watched all types of reality TV. For some of you guys know that I've been in the fashion industry. So, I was there for 3 years. So I've done Fashion Week 3 years. So, I dealt with all types of, beautiful women models, stuff like that. And I've dated also various women, you guys know. But I've never heard a woman say something like that, And that hit different. You know what I'm saying? However, I think Zanab, as beautiful as she is, and as she uses a lot of her, things as a defense mechanism to cover her insecurity about things, like her demeanor. She uses some of her personality traits like as a defense mechanism. Because if you think about it, her parents died. So from a young age, shorty had to toughen up. And so I think that makes it hard for her to be vulnerable, or that scares her. And I think that makes her even more sweeter, like, shorty. Especially the part where she said that she, her and the dude got intimate, but the next day he was acting cold. And then he said, you look different without makeup. And I looked at her and I'm like, she's even more beautiful without makeup than with makeup on. I don't know what Cole was talking about, right? And I really think that Cole, man, and this is how I know Cole isn't ready for marriage. When Cole said, Colleen is the type I usually would date, I was like, this kid ain't ready for marriage. Zanab, listen, Zanab needs a brother. She needs a real one. Somebody tell Zanab to holler at me, okay? I'll fly Zanab out on my G5. It's no problem. Okay? Zanab needs a real one. She needs, for lack of better verbiage, Zanab needs an alpha male, bro. She needs a guy with like alpha energy. You feel me? Zanab, I got you. I got you, shorty. Facts. All right. So, do I think they're gonna make it? No, heck no, they ain't gonna make it. Bartise. Now, Bartise was my favorite character. So far, he's been my favorite character. Positive vibes, fun, cool attitude, right? The dude is very smooth with the women, you know what I'm saying? He got a couple other ladies, checking for him. You already know. However, in episode 3 and 4 particularly, I started getting Drake vibes from him. You know what I'm saying? I started getting some Drake vibes from him, particularly in episode 4 when he was a bit of a chatty patty, bragging to the guys about, yeah, me and Nancy had sex 5 times. But then where it gets worse is at the end of the episode, you in bed with Nancy and he's doing all this chatty pattying. And guys, even Drake would have told him, don't pillow talk with the women. Drake said that in his first album. And he was doing you can tell he's not, he ain't ready for marriage, right? He's 25, he's young, and he's just not ready. He's just not ready, right? He's just kind of immature, just being honest. Nancy, man, what can I say about Nancy? She's a sweetheart, funny, down to earth. She just, to me, out of all the women that I see, and the men too, she seems to be the one that is the most marriage ready. She seems to be the one that I think is taking it more serious, just based off the conversations that I saw. And I know these shows are heavily edited, so they're going to try to paint a narrative. I understand that, right? I get that. But I definitely do sense some baby Raby vibes from her, that she wants to have kids. And I mean, she's 31 at the time at the show? So, her window is definitely closing. And yeah, I know with technology and advancement in the medical field, you can have kids now until your 40s or even your early 50s, right? But those are the exceptions, not the rule. Okay? Those are the exceptions, not the rule. Honestly, I thought they were going to make it, guys. I'm not going to lie. But at the end of episode 4, the way Bartise handled that let me know, that was not alpha energy. You know what I'm saying? All that chatty pattying that he did. I don't think they're going to make it, bruh. Because the way he was thirsting over Raven, bruh, it was kind of cringe, bruh. I got to keep it real. Even if you felt like that's something that, bro, you should have kept to yourself. You know what I'm saying? That's something you probably shouldn't have, just kept that to yourself, bro. And I can just tell, he's still immature in that aspect and whatnot. And I know people say, well, he was being honest. Well, being honest would have, there's not, being honest isn't always about what you say, but how you say things. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, that's, if I was engaged and my fiance was thirsting over another dude like that, I would have to reconsider my engagement, on the spot, God forbid. But it was just not, it wasn't a good look. So I don't think they're going to make it. Okay, so let's talk about SK. SK. You know what? Salute to the Nigerian brethren. You already know. Nigeria. I got some homies that remind me of SK. Shout out to him. He's very chill, very laid back. And he's also very smart and mature, And you can just tell, he's a no-nonsense type of guy by his conversation. And a lot of women are going to find that kind of boring. But SK is, I like his demeanor. You know what I'm saying? And I think that SK, I know people are saying, well, he doesn't have the razzle dazzle. Listen, with a Nigerian brother like that, you just got to see him get comfortable in the situation, right? Typically with Nigerians, I notice 2 things. You have the SK versions that are chill, or you got the Nigerian guys that are just smooth players from the jump, right? But even with the chill Nigerian brothers, eventually once they get comfortable, then you start to notice that razzle dazzle. And we're going to talk about more of that in a second. Let's talk about Raven. Raven. Beautiful, right? Although I think she's a little overrated, but flirty, right? Very flirtatious, beautiful. However, with Raven, I noticed that she's kind of narcissistic. I mean, Shorty clearly lacks empathy. When Bartise was telling the story about his, family, and Raven was working out, that to me showed lack of empathy. Because in that moment, she was more worried about working out herself than actually connecting with Bartise. And to me, also, that shows emotional unavailability. Because if I'm being vulnerable with you, then I expect you to at least like pay attention and listen, right? And so, and why do I say she's a narcissist? So another example is when Bartise was breaking the relationship off, right? Instantly, she, instead of like accepting it and moving on and processing those emotions, she instantly flipped it and said, "Oh well, I reject more guys than I reject guys all the time. Guys always like me more than I like them, right?" And why was she doing that? To protect her ego. That's something that narcissists tend to do a lot. Okay, they don't want to feel the negative emotions, so they will rationalize other people's behavior by either gaslighting them or by changing the narrative to avoid the topic, right? Or flip the situation, right? Kind of like she did in that scenario. Another thing about this whole thing is like, yo, I'm getting mad sugar baby vibes from her, bro. Mad sugar baby vibes. So she was talking about, oh yeah, I do some work, blah, 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 right? And of course, I was in the edge of my seat. I thought she was going to tell homie she's a escort. I didn't think she's a stripper because, she didn't really seem like the stripper type to me. But maybe an escort, right? But then she's like, oh, I work as a bottle girl, right? And I'm just like, I just don't get that vibe from her that she's a bottle girl. I honestly think that her saying she's a bottle girl is beneath her. Like, that's something that I feel like Raven would look down upon. That's why I don't believe it, because the way that you see Raven talk to some other people about what she needs financially in a man and how she's used to dating older men, right? That lets me know, like, okay, sugar baby alert, sugar baby alert. So to me, I just don't believe that Raven is a bottle girl. I think that she's I get sugar baby vibes from her, bro. Like, for real, for real. And so with Raven, I do think that she thinks very highly of herself. You know what I'm saying? But you can tell behind her eyes, bro, like her eyes are cold, bro. Like, she's heartless, bro. Like, facts. So when she's talking to SK about razzle dazzle, right? That is just a code word that women like to use for like woo me or chemistry or razzle dazzle attraction. Chemistry is just a fancy word for attraction. Because if you have a connection with somebody, right, and you're attracted to them, then people say, well, there's something about blah, right? Because you can't put the chemistry into words. It's a connection. If you connect with somebody emotionally, boom. And attraction makes that chemistry stronger. That's why women use words like razzle, dazzle, or chemistry, because they can't describe it to you. But it's attraction. And SK just doesn't do it for Raven's loins. Like, let's just be honest. SK just doesn't do it for her like that. And the reality is, though, she even mentioned that, SK is the type of guy that he's not what I'm used to, but he's probably what I need. And I agree with her on that. Because I think that SK is the type of guy that if he has a good woman behind him, he could be like a president. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's got the demeanor. He's got the credentials, and, and he's very mature, that which impressed me. However, I don't think they're going to make it because Raven is too superficial and shallow. I think she's more shallow than Colleen, so they're not going to make it. Raven is always going to want something fancy that will match, her superficiality. So a good-looking guy, a good, that's what it is. She's very basic in that regard. Not no shade, just calling it how I see it, okay? Okay, and of course, I gotta save the best for last. Andrew. Oh, Andrew. Now, let me just first say the positives about Andrew. Probably the best dress in Love is Blind history, okay? The last 3 seasons, we've seen some good looking men dress. No, you know what I'm saying? No flamingo, but we've seen Barnett, he can dress. We've seen Jarrett, he does his thing, but Andrew is probably the best dressed dude that I've seen on the show. Every time he was there, his suits were immaculate. So his suit game was on point. You know what I mean? Andrew is also very successful, highly accomplished, well spoken. You can tell like Andrew is not, that Andrew, cares about his image, right? Everything is well thought out, right? However, Andrew gives me pickup artist vibes. Some of the stuff that he was saying sounded like he rehearsed it in front of a mirror. Like for example, when Nancy asked him about, how she would see marriage happening or something like that. And I'm paraphrasing, right? How he would see marriage, how their marriage would be or something, And then he gave like this quote from a book. And then he segued into, I traveled to Europe and then I went to Africa. So Andrew is clearly a narcissist. And bro, when he put the tears in his eyes, bro, I lost it, bro. Because I'm like, this guy might be like a sociopath or a psychopath. Like a sociopath, right? Like I got like Patrick Bateman vibes from him. And I was like, man, they got to bring him back. And then when I saw the end and he was talking to Nancy, I was like, oh, they did Nancy dirty. They did Nancy grimy by doing that. I think Andrew would have been phenomenal to see him paired up with a woman, just to see how long the woman would have seen through the facade. Because clearly Nancy's instinct was like, you know what? There's something off about this guy, right? And and I know a lot of people are harping about the sex story, right? The Asian Christian Grey. That's what they call him. Shout out to the Reddit. Asian Christian Grey. You know what? It was definitely cringe and weird, but it in that scenario, it accomplished its goal for Nancy, right? She was obviously with it. But just a word of advice, guys, don't do that, number one, unless the girl initiates. But don't do that. And number two, don't talk about your exes. It was definitely like, I just think that, they need to bring him back. Like, this guy, like, he's different, bro. And so they are definitely going to bring him back to a capacity. But when he put the tears in his eyes, I realized, this dude, because there was something off about him. I was like, this guy seems like a fake pickup artist type. But now I really think like, this guy steady Christian Grey and Patrick Bateman, like there's something definitely like, you know what I'm saying? But regardless, I would have loved to see Andrew matched up with like a Raven or something like that. The gaslighting and what they would have been doing to each other, that would have been phenomenal to see. Colleen would have gotten ate up by him. Nancy would have gotten ate up by him too, because he definitely is a narc. And so I guess we shall see. So anyway, guys, this is my review. I know it's a little bit lengthy. I will be, I'll try to do a review per each episode, but we'll see, guys. We'll see. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. More to come, and I'm out. Peace.